Hi, students. If you are hearing a popping noise during my video, I'm sorry. I have a new mic that is being ordered, so it should be in soon. But until then, this is the best I can do with my videos. So you should be today on page 3 of your journal. All right. Many of you did not send me pictures or get on the Zoom of your journal. That is a grade in my class, an easy grade. Those of you having trouble sending pictures, if you download the app, it's extremely easy to take a picture and send it. It is on one of my videos. I explained how to do that. But we're going to go ahead and get started on this lesson. This is the foldable we'll be using in class, but I do not expect you to print it. All right? I don't expect you to print unless you want to. If you want to, that's fine if you have that capability. So I wanted you to see what they are looking at, and your notes still need to be the same. So you're going to have 3 columns on page 3. So draw 3 columns. I'm going to use an index card. You can use a ruler. I just had this right by my desk, so it's easy. So I'm going to draw it into 3 columns. And I know that it would be so much easier if you did have a copy, but unfortunately I can't find a way to get you copies of the notes. So, yes, drawing them is your best option from at home. All right, so we're going to start with, we are talking about square roots, okay? Square roots. So we're going to start with what the square root symbol is. And I want you to draw it big. So there is our square root symbol. It's what we use. So this piece right here is called the radical. Radical. The piece inside it, we are not going to worry about the name of it because we don't need to know it for 8th grade purposes. Quickly in this video, if you are having trouble accessing my video or hearing my videos, let me know and I will definitely try to do the best I can. Alright, so we're going to talk about what square root is. So the square root of a number, so the square root of 25, and we're going to put a line and put 25, is 5. And the reason why it is because 5 times 5, because 5 times 5 equals 25. So if you think of it like a square of 25 blocks, okay, so we have a little think here, a little think bubble. If we draw 5 by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, and again, this is probably not going to be perfect because drawing is not my best skill. So I'm going to draw 5 by 5, trying to make everything the same size, which probably is not going to happen. Hey, not too bad, besides this little bottom piece. Sorry, did not realize that was off my screen. Alright, so I have a 5 by 5. So if I count these, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have another 5, so there's 10, another 5, 15, another 5, 20, another 5, 25. So there's 25 blocks there, all right? So 25 blocks. And if I notice the square root of 25, so if I put 25 blocks into a square, the side length of that square, and you don't have to do that, do a symbol, I'll show you how to do it, will be 5. So you can also do just like that. It's going to be 5. So the square root of 25 is 5. All right. So we're going to come to our second column here, and we're going to look at some examples. So we're going to label it as example 1. we're going to find the square root of each number. So example A, square root of 144. So if I take 144 squares and I put them into a square, sorry, I just hit the mic, what would the length of my side be? Now, I don't want to draw 144 squares, so I'm just going to think, what times what is going to give me 144? And that what needs to be the same. So if I do 11 times 11, that's 121. That's not enough. 12 times 12 is 144. So the square root of 144 is 12. Example B. Square root of 81. So if I have 81 blocks, would be 9 times 9. So the square root would be 9. Look at one more example, and it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a negative on the outside. Now, for 8th grade math, we can have a negative on the outside, but for 8th grade math, we're not going to have a negative on the inside. You don't learn about the negatives on the inside until high school math. All right, so square root of 25 is 5, but there's a negative out here, so I'm just going to bring the negative with me. Okay. And I'm going to make myself a little note. Put a little asterisk, that's the little star. And I'm going to put this, that negative square root of 25, is different than square root of negative 25. Those are different. Now I want to encourage you. Your journal needs to match my journal. Because when you have a journal test, you're going to use your journal, but it needs to match mine. And that includes at home. I'm still expecting you to keep up with a journal at home. Alright? So let's look at some examples of ones that are not so pretty. So some not so pretty ones. So we're going to approximate. We're going to kind of go, okay, this is between what? So our first example is going to be square root of 98. Well, I'm going to put this little thinking cap on. I'm going to say, okay, well, 9 times 9 equals 81. And 10 times 10 equals 100. So I'm going to say it is between 9 and 10. Between 9 and 10. But which one is it closer to? Is it closer to the 81 or the 100? It's closer to the 100. So I'm going to say it's closer to the 10. So closer to 10. So let's look at another example. Negative square root 39. So again, I'm going to think for a little bit, and I'm going to say, okay, what is this? What do we got? We've got 6 times 6 is 36. And I've got that 7 times 7 is 49. So it is between 6 and 7, between 6 and 7. But which one is it closer to? Closer to my 6. So closer to 6. But one little trick. This was a negative. So I'm going to say it's between my negative 6 and negative 7. And still closer to my negative 6. So you work the negative ones the same way, but then go back and think, these are negatives. So we're going to be using our negative. Example C, square root 55. So let me think. This is, what can we use? Well, 7 times 7 is 49. And 8 times 8 is 64. And 55 is between 49 and 64. So I'm going to say between 7, and 8 closer to, which one's it closer to? So it's 6 away from my 49, and it's 9 away from my 64, so say closer to 7. Alright. So now let's go look on our third column. Alright, and third column is where we're going to actually work some out. Okay, so this is going to be labeled example 3. So A is 5 times square root of 225 minus 10. So square root of 225 is 15, because 15 times 15 is 225. So I'm going to bring my 5 down, my parentheses. It's 15 minus 10. Order of operations says do my parentheses first. 15 minus 10 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So that's when I solve that or evaluate. Alright, so just work it, doing my order of operations. Let's do another one. Example B. Negative 125 plus 3 square root 400. Anytime I have a number next to a square root, that means multiplication. So I'm going to do my square root first. So I'm going to bring down my negative 125. Bring down my 3. I'm going to put this answer in parentheses. Square root of 400 is 20. So order operation says do multiplication. So 3 times 20 is 60. Plus my negative 125. Negative, positive, my signs are different. So I'm going to subtract them. And there was more negatives, so it gets to keep the sign. Alright, one more example. And that is a square root, but it's going to have a fraction in it. 64 over 4 times square root of 9. So I'm going to show you a little trick. Okay? This can be broken down into square root of 64 over the square root of 4. So all I did was give that square root to each number individually. I'm going to multiply it times square root of 9. Alright, so square root of 64 is 8 over square root of 4, which is 2, times the square root of 9, which is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to say that one again. I can distribute, or I can give that square root to that 64 and to the 4. 8 times 8 is 64, so 8. 2 times 2 is 4, so 2. 3 times 3 is 9. And then I worked it out from there. Alright, on the left side, we're going to take a note about the opposite of a square root is to square a number. So be sure to get that written down. And in class, they're going to be given a chart of squares and a chart of square roots. Alright, this is what it looks like when I drew mine. Very sloppy, but hey, it's done. That's what we want. Right now, I want you to freeze, pause the video, and get this note down and draw this table. Okay? When you are done, push play. Please push pause. If not, you will be scrambling. Alright? So go ahead and push pause. Alright, now there are the answers. So I want you to copy the answers down. So I want you to push pause, copy the answers down, and I want you to push play once you have it copied down. And then we're going to briefly talk about it, and then we will be done with this lesson. Alright, so you should have paused, and you should have this all copied down by now. So I just want you to look. The square root of 1 is 1, while 1 squared is 1. Square root of 4 is 2, while 2 squared is 4. This is what I mean by the opposites and undoes. So the square